Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, and oh boy, the crimson flower is beginning to bloom in this episode, because this is the point in the game where you can either, if you see Edelgard, you can follow her to her ceremony where she becomes emperor, and with that, then you can initiate the crimson flower. You don't have to go down it, but you can at least initiate it. But before that, we've got Ingrid's support, and again, this is further going into what I've said about Three Houses many times, how it takes cliches or like typical character tropes or backstories, but does something really good with them. In this case, you got Ingrid's one where her father wants to marry her off for political purposes and to restore their family name because their family is in kind of a low point right now. Which is a typical thing, you see that a lot, but what's different here is and obviously Ingrid's rebelling because, she wants to follow her own path. But, what's so interesting is that in most situations, the dad's usually portrayed to be, a bit of a douchebag. He didn't really care for his daughter, he just wanted to pawn her off. He's used her as more of a tool. But that's not the case, because Ingrid goes into the fact that despite being poor, he spent every penny he had on Ingrid. She grew up in luxury, she had, good food, she had clothes, she had what she wanted. He had to basically eat dishwater and, moldy bread. But it was to ensure that Ingrid was happy. So it's not, he was a loving dad to Ingrid. He just saying that without her, the family is pretty much screwed. So obviously she's got this dilemma because, again, she wants, and naturally you'd want to help out your family, and her dad has been good to her. It's just a case of she wants her own path in life. She doesn't want to be married off. So it makes that dilemma. That's what makes it so interesting. She's not so inconsiderate as to be I don't care, I just want to do my own thing. She does care about her dad, and she does acknowledge that he was really nice to her. But at the end of the day, it's her life. What she wants to do with it. And again, that's what's the difficult dilemma for her. And yeah, that's what I find so good about a character like this. It's not just a typical, oh, my dad's a dick, but I don't know, it's oh, I'm not going to obey him, and stuff like that. No, my dad was nice, and this would help my family, but I don't know if I want to do it, because, it's her life. She's focused more on, training, becoming a soldier. She wants to become the best she can, not be a housewife, stuff like that. And again, going into why Crest is the problem, they're just so bloody sought after. Yeah. And obviously, it seems bad, but yeah. But later it goes into how,
Despite my own feelings, I
understand. Yeah. So again, she understands him, and again, I think that's cool. That's why these characters are so good, because they're not so one-sided.
Very well.
Yeah. But alright, so regarding Edelgard and the Black Crimson Flower thing. So basically, around chapter 10 or 11, you have to go talk to Edelgard within the monastery. Yeah, over there. You have to go talk to her. Now, this thing threw a lot of people for a loop, and a lot of people got really annoyed at it. Because if you don't talk to her directly, you completely miss out on this, and you can't do Crimson Flower. You're stuck with Silver Snow. Personally, I can understand their frustration, because it's not a fixed event. You have to actually go seek her out. Now, granted, if you're exploring the monastery, and, you're encouraged to, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, granted, probably players who don't care about that, they just want to focus on maybe just grinding for EXP and so on. So yeah. And the game does tell you this will drastically change the story. What I did was I made, at this point, I saved it, and I saved an additional save file as a copy. So with this one, I follow Edelgard, and in the other file, I don't, and that's what Silver Snow is. But we'll cover that after we've completed Crimson Flower, and we'll just backpedal.
Forgive me.
Up to the point, around here. So Edelgard's off to, become Emperor. And this scene is really damn cool, and just again, she asserts her dominance, straight away. And it's actually quite, it's quite a sad scene as well, because not only is the current emperor really weak and all that, but he goes on about how because of what happened to him, he couldn't help Edelgard, and she went through so much. He does feel sorry, he does feel regret. But Edelgard's I know that's, I know, father. She doesn't hold it against him, but she's I know you did all that you could, now allow me to take the reins. But going back to the point I was trying to make, so a lot of people miss that, and a lot of people feel oh shit, I can't do Crimson Flower, thanks game. I mean, granted, it's not that difficult to miss, because you just have to talk to her during the exploration, but at the same time, something that can determine where you go within a playthrough, I think should be a fixed event where, let's just say you're going through the calendar days, and there's one day where Edelgard says, will you come with me to the Empire for this, this, and this, and this? And then you say yes or no. I mean, I get why from a story perspective, if you miss out on this, you also miss out on lecturing the students, but at the same time, I think just to make it a safer option, they should have probably, made it a fixed event so that you just go through the calendar days and then you think, or at the very least, make it a fixed event that you need a certain support level with. Maybe like, I don't know, C+ or B support with Edelgard then, because then she'll trust you enough. If you've got lower than that, then she won't trust you and you just automatically do Silver Snow. But, so luckily, yeah, because I heard about this beforehand. I mean, I would have probably unlocked it anyway, just because I always talk to people and explore the monastery. I'm not the type to skip the monastery bit, at least in the beginning of the month. So, yeah, Edelgard is ascending to the throne, you know. And again, I like how she just asserts her power straight away, and you'll see it soon. And again, you just see the Emperor lamenting about all that happened. And again, I like how, again, their relationship is not the typical thing. It's not like the Emperor didn't care and he's just like, whatever. Or it's not like he's, he's just like, he's stone cold to what happened. It's like, now go do this, that, and the other. He cares about her. He clearly cares. And Edelgard's not so resentful as to be like, oh, whatever, or just stuff like that. You know, she's still cold in general, but, you know, she understands his plight and she wants to, yeah. Yeah, exactly. They understand each other. Ugh.
You must not leave your...
So this Duke Ire is, I believe it's Ferdinand's father or uncle. Oh, I think it's his father. But yeah, oh, well, he certainly looks very Oliver. I mean, just look at her. Yeah.
You have misspoken.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. So you were the one who did the coup against me and all that jazz on the experiments. So yeah, someone's under house arrest.
It is true. Edelgard is the new
poor guy. He looks like, you know, he looks like a husk. Bless his soul.
Will summon the officials.
And again, even the voice acting, he really does sound like he's on his last breath. And again, the music is really awesome. Yeah.
It will be some time before you are allowed to make
She's like, oh, I'm getting payback for this motherfucker. I'm getting payback.
How can this be?
Someone's got a squeaky voice.
Understood, Your Majesty.
So yeah, now Edelgard is Emperor.
My dear El.
And again, you can see the tragedy behind all of this. Like, Edelgard is literally the last hope. That's a lot of Three Houses in a nutshell. Some of these characters are like the last hopes for their family. Like Scythia, Ingrid, Marianne, you know, Sylvain, so to speak.
Emperor, it's time to grasp my destiny.
Yeah.
After the ceremony at the Holy Tomb, I must return to Enbar.
So yeah, obviously now she trusts you enough. Because the thing is, even if you do Crimson Flower, you're still given the choice to do Silver Snow by the end of the chapter. But obviously I didn't do it in this case. I mean, for what it's worth, I would have stuck with Edelgard regardless just because I could get behind her resolve. I mean, yeah, she does some bad things, but I could get behind her objective. Because again, each side has the positives and negatives. But I feel the Church of Ceres is doing more bad than good, all things considered. They definitely do good, and yet Bernadette is now a sniper, and oh boy does she benefit from this so much. You'll see it in the next episode, like Bernadette is just nuts. But speaking of which, also yeah, Caspar and Bernadette, Caspar and Dorothy are gonna have supports. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, like obviously Edelgard does do a lot wrong. She instigates war, she is, you know, she does cause a lot of bloodshed, and she is kind of one of the more the means justify the ends type person. But at the same time, considering the type of state that Fodlan's in, all that the Church of Ceres does, the way Rhea acts, the way crests have affected like family status and so on, what's done to people, I can get behind that. She wants a world of equality, and I'm cool with that. Again, like I said, I can go with both, and I can see the sides to both, but I'm very much a case of, you know, I would back Edelgard given the choice. Yeah. Oh yeah, so the Caspar support is here. It's kind of a silly one because it's a case of Bernadette trying to get through to him, but obviously she can't explain herself very well, and Caspar being a bit case of tunnel vision and not listening properly. So the whole thing is just like she wants to revisit that place again, but obviously Caspar, you know, because of the way he acts, like, you know, he kind of like drags her there, and obviously you don't do that to someone who's got social anxiety, you know. It's a really nice place, and they do become closer because of it, and like even the place they visit, it becomes their spot alone. But because, you know, Caspar's got to learn to listen to people instead of just, you know, doing it his way. Again, it's a nice support, but it's mostly just, you know, it's mostly funny. Right, at the same time, you know, at the very least, it's not a pointless support. I've yet to see a Three Houses support that is absolutely pointless. Yeah. See, out of context, it sounds so wrong. It's like, Caspar, what are you doing? Caspar, what the hell are you doing? Jesus. Ay, ay, ay. I'm sorry, out of context, that sounds so wrong. Oh yeah, so this one, Caspar and Dorothea. This one is actually quite cute as well. because
I feel like you act more casually around me.
yeah, obviously Caspar's noticing that Dorothea isn't so flirtatious around Caspar, and that's because of the way Dorothea, because Dorothea sees him as like a younger brother, and also B, just because of his attitude, because he's so just steadfast in his goal. He doesn't try to hide who he is. He doesn't second guess about his his path in life. He's just so
You pay more attention than I
carefree in a sense and straightforward. And obviously, I reckon Dorothea is kind of envious of that. It's like, she wish she could be, but obviously that's not her case. But also, again, because he acts like little brother, she doesn't see him as like, at first, she doesn't see him as like a partner, more just, oh, you're cute and stuff like that.
I do find you quite a convenient little helper at times.
But, that's what's actually quite interesting, because and also, Caspar's a bit of an idiot, she doesn't see that she's hitting on him in some cases. But, by the A support, she does admit, like, life with him would be actually quite nice because of the person he is, and, like, at first she didn't consider him like that, but she sees him like that now. But obviously, Caspar doesn't really think about romance, and he says, like, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but obviously for them it's more of a, if things don't work out, we should get together type thing. Yeah.
Embarrassed just thinking about it.
But it's cute, and I like that Dorothea is, willing to be more open towards people. It's not like, oh, I'm literally just going to find a rich husband. It's like, at the end of the day, she does realize that, it is good to be with the people that you love, and even Caspar did grow on her. And again, Ferdinand is the same, but for different reasons. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, so, oh, big sister. Big sister.
Well done, Caspar.
Oh, you know what? I would love to see. I would love to see so much, because I think it would be hilariously adorable. Ash and Dorothea, because she would tease him so bad, and he would not be able to do it. He would be at her mercy. It would be hilarious, though. Just seeing like Ash at Dorothea's mercy, the way she just like teases him, flirts with him, and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, she probably still appreciates just how upbeat and cute he is, but at the same time, he'll try to prove himself, and then she will be impressed and maybe fall for him. But it would be so sweet. But at the same time, maybe Ash would also learn to, learn about Dorothea and then take her a bit more seriously. Oh yeah, so we have Tea Party with Lysithea. You know what's funny? It's so hilarious. I wasn't able to recruit Lysithea pre-time skip, but come post-time skip, she's actually able to join our side. And again, it's like this the Tea Party started everything. And thankfully on the live stream I got her as well, because from what I've read and what I know, she is the best magic user purely on not just her stats, but her spell and her reason and faith pool. It's really good. Granted, HP-wise, she's awful. Like, her defense stuff are absolutely dreadful. Also, Lysithea is one of those iffy ones. I don't know what exactly to talk about. But yeah, so, I mean, I know she's in studying, I know she likes sweets, but obviously sometimes it can be a bit iffy. But, as I was saying, crap. Yeah, I like, again, physically she's terrible, so, if the enemy gets a chance to attack her, and that's why I like, with Lysithea, I always, like, worry about bow units, because they're additional range and I can't counter-attack. But, what do you call it? But again, her just damage output, combined with her speed and everything, just fucking stupid. It's honest to God stupid. I mean, there are other great magic users too. Hubert's great. I'm pretty sure Mercedes is a really good healer, just because of her, like, live to thing. And I'm pretty sure Marianne's pretty good. But, like, holy crap, man. Lysithea's magic is just nuts. So yeah, here we are. Point of no return.
This is the Holy Tomb.
So yeah, this is where shit gets real, so to speak.
Such a vast space beneath the monastery all this time.
Again, what have you been hiding from us, Freya, for God's sake?
That any of these enormous contraptions are of this world.
But the chapter itself, well, we'll cover the chapter itself next time. But, suddenly, ever since you kind of awaken, suddenly Rhea's taken so much of an interest in you. And oh my god, like, the way Rhea's attitude changes when you go Crimson Flower, it's what makes her interesting, but it's all the more reason I hate her, just because she acts like such a bitch. Like an actual, like, maniacal, spiteful bitch. And again, that's my thing with Rhea. Like, again, I think she is a great character. I just... Oh, okay.
There is no need to hide anything.
Sorry, again, I was trying to not arouse suspicion, which is why I said I do not.
Seen it, haven't you?
But obviously, she's kind of fixated, like, she kind of knows what's going on. Yeah, I couldn't care less. But that's the whole thing. Rhea is very two-faced, basically. And because of that, I can't really dig her as a character. Granted, being two-faced isn't necessarily a quote-unquote bad thing. Charlotte's two-faced, but for different reasons.
Well,
yeah, it's like, this throne feels a little big, so to speak.
It was supposed to be but a step away. What could possibly be...
Oh shit, we didn't download the DLC. The pilot patch isn't there. Halt! So yeah, oh god, it's like, so Edelgard was the bad guy all along. Gee, I was like, well, Hubert was our servant, so what do you expect?
Thank you ever so much for guiding us this far. The Imperial Army will now take
So yeah,
possession of everything
so
in the Holy
the Empire is
City.
now making the move now that they had access to the army. Makes sense. Yeah. And here's the thing, yeah, you've got to fight against them, even with the Black Eagles, but it's
So
this
the
point
flame
forward
is
where,
connected
you
to
know,
the Empire. I never thought that possible.
really? Because I kind of suspected it already.
Did you know about this?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got to fight your way out, even with the Black Eagles, but if you've done the Crimson Flower route, by the end you get the choice, do you side with or against Edelgard? And if you do, all the Black Eagles join you. And again, that's what I really like, and if you don't, obviously all the Black Eagles join the other side. And again, that's what I like about Three Houses, how Byleth influences decisions, not events. Like, again, he influences what characters may do, like, in terms of, like, you know, obviously, you know, where the Black Eagles will go. But at the end of the day, he doesn't change the fact that Edelgard's going to invade. He doesn't change the fact that, you know, Rhea's going to fight back. He doesn't change what Dimitri and Claude are going to do. All he does is influence everyone around him. And again, I really like that. That's how it should be.
What's the meaning of this, Edelgard?
You
You would...
made use of us? Why?
But it's also interesting for Edelgard because she does care about her students and her like her peers and her friends, but ultimately her goal is what matters most. But when you side with her, it really does mean a lot to her because she does care about you. It's just a case of, like, you know, the needs of the many versus the needs of the few. And in this case, the many is Fodlan. She just wants to free them. And also, yeah, it also makes sense why she wants the Crest Stones, which becomes apparent later on. But anyway, so that's the end of that part, ladies and gentlemen. But next time we meet, we're going to be starting this chapter. We're going to be trying to micromanage a lot. We're going to see Bernadetta kicking some serious ass, and just going to see what they are like. You know, just going to go about our business and do the best we can. Just be prepared for a lot of criticals. Until then, thank you all very much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care and have a wonderful day.